Let me ask you something real quick. What if the people who promised you freedom slowly became worse than the ones you overthrew? Like, sounds dramatic, right? Well, that's exactly what happens in Animal Farm by George Orwell. A short book that looks simple but quietly destroys your comfort zone. Alright, before we jump into the story, let's quickly talk about where the book comes from. Animal Farm was written by George Orwell, the same author who wrote 1984. Orwell wasn't writing this to entertain, he was writing to warn people. This book came out in 1945, right after World War II, when the world was already questioning power, politics, and propaganda. And here's the interesting part. Orwell chose animal to tell a story about whom. Now that we know the background, let's talk about what actually happens in this book. So the story takes place on an animal farm called Manor Farm, owned by a careless drunk farmer named Mr. Jones. One night, an old pig named Old Major gathers all the animals and gives a powerful speech. He basically says your lives are miserable because humans steal your work. If humans disappear, life will be fair. That idea lights a spark. Soon the animals rebel, chase away Mr. Jones, and rename the place Animal Farm. At first, everything feels hopeful. They create rules, promise, equality, and believe they are building a perfect society. But here's where things got interesting. See the pigs start talking, taking control, starting control, rules begins to change, decisions are made for everyone's good, and the dream of equality starts slipping out. I won't spoil the ending, but the final pages you realize something terrifying. The farm looks peaceful, the animals still work, but freedom means something very different now. To understand why this happens, we need to look at to understand why this happens, we need to look at economics. Let's pause the story for a second because the Animal Farm isn't really about animals, it's about what they symbolize. The first character name is Napoleon. Napoleon is a pig who ends up in power. He's not loud or emotional, he's calculating. He represents leaders who take control after revolutions and slowly turn into dictators. The second character was Snowball. Snowball is smart, energetic, and full of ideas. He represents idealistic leaders who genuinely want progress but aren't built for dirty politics. Character was the pig Squealer. The pig deserves special attention. Squealer uses words as weapons. He explains away problem, twists facts, and make bad things sound good. If you have ever heard a politician or media outlet says this is for your own good, you have met a squad. The next one character is Boxer. Boxer is the hardest worker on the farm. His life motto is "I will work hard." He represents the working class, loyal, honesty, and tragically easy to exploit. And the last character is Benjamin. Benjamin, the donkey, he was actually the donkey, sees everything clearly. He understands what's happening, but rarely speaks up. He represents people who know the truth but choose silence. So these are the five characters representing in this book. Now that we understand the characters, let's talk about what Orwell is really trying to say. Themes and hidden messages in its books. This is where Animal Farm stops being a story and becoming a warning. Because power always wants to move. The pigs the pigs don't become evil overnight. They change little by little, just enough take no one stops them. Or what it's saying, power doesn't mean violence at first. It needs patience. The second point is language. Language can control reality. Rules are written, history is re-explained, and suddenly animals start doubting their own memory. This is Orwell showing how propaganda works. The third one is blind loyalty is dangerous. Boxers Loyalty feels inspiring at first, but Orwell asks a brutal question. What happens when loyalty is placed into? This is the third one. The fourth one is revolutions can betray themselves. Hope isn't anti-revolution, it's anti-blind trust after a revolution. And honestly, that's what makes it so uncomfortable. Which brings us to the question, big question: why does this book still matter today? Let's be honest. Animal Farm doesn't feel old. We still see leaders rewriting rules, media changing narratives, hardworking people being told to sacrifice more, through being adjusted instead of spoken. This book works because it's not about one country or one time. It's about human behavior, and that's why people still argue about it decades later. So now here's my honest take. Animal Farm is not here to make you feel good. It's here to make you think. It shows how freedom can disappear, not with chains, but with words. Not overnight, but step by step.